These 10 investment management firms control 50% of the world's GDP. Check out the world's top 10 asset management companies, which collectively hold more than $45 trillion assets under management. The number one's AUM are equivalent to 10% of the global GDP. You heard it right. The firm controls 10 cents of every dollar that goes into the planet's total economic output. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about 10 investment management firms that control half of the world's gross domestic products. Now, before we even get into the nitty-gritty here, let me just quickly explain the fundamentals. What is asset management? Asset management is the service usually performed by a firm of directing a client's wealth or investment portfolio on their behalf. So these firms typically have investment minimums, so their clients usually have a high net worth. Understanding the field of asset management and what role asset management companies play will help you hire the right professional to meet your financial goals. You may even learn about money management options you didn't even know were available to you. How big asset management firms operate? Many asset managers will only deal with large institutions such as other corporations, big nonprofits, or associations. But many of the most recognizable firms will offer services for average investors. In many cases, asset management firms make money by charging fees based on the number of assets they manage, though some will charge flat fees. These companies often have other business lines other than asset management, including brokerage services. In some cases, asset management makes up a fraction of the company's revenue. This means that they often partner with each other in various ways, despite being competitors. For example, and this is a classic example, one asset management firm may use its online brokerage platform to allow investors to buy and sell the mutual funds of a competing company. What are the costs, really, when you talk about investment management cost? Asset management cost. Investment fees for asset management can range anywhere from a few basis points to a substantial percentage of the shared profits on performance agreement accounts. These fees will depend on the specifics of the portfolio. In other cases, firms charge a minimum annual fee, such as $5,000 or $10,000 per year. Remember, though, I spoke about a basis point. A basis point is 1/100th of a percent, or equivalently 1% of 1%, right? So for example, 1 BPS, 1 basis point, applied to 1 million equal 100. Are there firms for average investors? Of course there are. Some asset management firms have retooled their businesses to increase their offerings and better serve smaller investors. Many of these companies create pooled structures such as mutual funds, index funds, or exchange-traded funds, which they can manage in a single, centralized portfolio. Smaller investors can then invest directly in the fund or through an intermediary such as another investment advisor or financial planner. If you take, for example, Vanguard, they are one of the largest asset management companies in the world. They tend to focus nowadays on lower and middle-income investors whose asset balances might be too small for other institutions. So here you have it. I'm just trying to give you paint a picture of the asset management industry, telling you what it is, how the big firms operate, the cost, and the firms that take care of average investors. I'll be right back with the list of the top 10 investment management companies worldwide. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I hope you are still with us, and if you love the content's clarity and quality so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell. We'll surely appreciate that. Also, you can you can also comment below and ask questions or just share your experience with the community. We really appreciate that. Like this content, share, do anything you want. We really appreciate it. What are the 10 largest investment management companies? Here's a look at the top asset management companies based on the number of funds, asset under management or AUM, under their control based on their most recently reported balance sheets. You may recognize some of these companies as among the largest financial institutions in the world. Some companies may have much higher reported assets under custody, which would include money still managed by clients themselves. The number one of all-time champion is BlackRock. Asset under management, $6.84 trillion. BlackRock is not just the world's largest asset manager, but one of the world's largest financial institutions. The company was founded in 1988 and went public in 1999. The firm has been influential in advancing the growth of ETFs, exchange-traded funds, through its iShares products. iShares now comprise more than a quarter of BlackRock's asset under management. Number 2, the Vanguard Group, another biggie. AUM, $6.2 trillion. Vanguard has become synonymous with the strategy of passive investing, in which money is placed in mutual funds designed to mirror the activity of specific indexes or the broader stock market. Vanguard boasts of low expense ratios for most of its funds. In addition to asset management, Vanguard offers brokerage services, financial planning, annuities, and other services. So they actually offer the whole 9 yards. Number 3, UBS Group. This is a Swiss group. They have an AUM, asset under management, of 3.26 trillion. And this is as of the second quarter of 2020. So for someone who's listening to this show 3 months from now, or 3 years from now, or 30 years from now, this 3.26 trillion was as of the end of the second quarter. So July was as of July 2020. UBS Group has 4 interdependent divisions that operate around the world. The Switzerland-based firm describes itself as the only true global wealth manager. About $2.3 trillion is tied up in wealth management versus $903 billion in asset management. Number 4, State Street Global Advisors. Asset under management, $3.12 trillion. The Boston-based State Street is the subsidiary of State Street Corporation. It manages investments for a wide range of institutional clients, including nonprofits, local governments, associations, and even educational groups. State Street is one of the most diversified investment manager on the list here, because they are focused not only on B2C but also B2B. A lot of their money comes from B2B. Like I said, B2Bs are considered more stable. For instance, if you have nonprofits or local governments, their revenue base is more stable. And let's move on to number 5. Number 5, Fidelity. Fidelity has an AUM. They have asset under management of $3.2 trillion. Fidelity is an asset manager and a discount broker with more than 27 million customers. So they're really focused on B2C here. Fidelity offers an online platform for individual investors to buy and sell securities, and also manages entire portfolios on behalf of clients. So in the summer of 2018, the company made headlines when it began offering mutual funds with a 0 expense ratio and minimum investment requirements. The thing here is that whether it is BlackRock, Vanguard, UBS, State Street, or Fidelity, if you want them to manage your entire portfolio, it is critical to have on file something called investment management policy. You want to specify in a document, in a one-pager, how you want the fund, how you want your money to be invested, the kind of, if you have some kind of ethical concerns about where the money is going, you don't want them to buy certain stocks or bonds for you. You need to specify that, and the best way to do it is to talk to your account manager, to your broker, and explain your concerns and your aspirations when it comes to investing your money. You also want to, this is a great opportunity to also talk about the risk, your risk preferences. Are you a risk taker? Are you risk averse? Whatever the option you want to choose, you want to make sure that your portfolio reflects your risk preference. I'll be right back right after this with 5 more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm very happy to still have you around today, and we are still having a conversation around the top 10 investment management firms that control 50% of the world's gross domestic product. Let's go now with Allianz. Allianz is a German company, so they have asset under management of $2.36 trillion. This German firm is primarily an insurer, but they also operate two asset management divisions. So you have Allianz Global Advisors and PIMCO. By itself, PIMCO has $1.76 trillion under management, which is good enough to also land the company by itself on this list. Next, we have JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan Chase, AUM $1.9 trillion. Most people think of JP Morgan Chase as an investment bank, but it has a robust asset management business and got $1.3 billion in assets moved from BlackRock as part of a new custody agreement in 2017. Next, we have Bank of New York Mellon, AUM $1.9 trillion. The history of Bank of New York Mellon dates back to its founder, Alexander Hamilton. Perhaps you've heard of him. More than 230 years later, Bank of New York Mellon manages investment for individuals and investments in 35 countries. Number 9, Capital Group. This is one of the lesser known, the least known on the group on the list here, but they're huge. They're very, very huge, and they're very great at what they're doing. Capital Group, asset under management $1.8 trillion. This Los Angeles-based firm was founded all the way back in 1931, making it one of the oldest in the world. It offers more than 40 mutual funds through American Funds Distributors, which is its subsidiary. And last but not the least, you have PIMCO, Pacific Investment Management Company, LLC. PIMCO has about $1.76 trillion assets under management. And as I've said earlier, PIMCO is managed under the same company as Allianz. Although it was acquired by a German company, it is headquartered in California, and it continues to operate as an autonomous subsidiary of Allianz. All right, so this is the top 10 list. If you have, were you surprised? Did you already know this? Please put in the comment section. If there are other companies that you were surprised were not on the list, let us know in the comment section. We want to hear more from you. And let me quickly give a recap of today's conversation. So I kind of was talking to you about the 10 investment management firms that control 50% of the world's GDP. I first walked you through what asset management is, how big asset management firms operate, asset management cost, the firms for average investors, and the top 10 were BlackRock, the Vanguard Group, UBS Group, State Street Global Advisors, Fidelity, Allianz, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of New York Mellon, Capital Group, and PIMCO. Thank you so much for listening to today's conversation. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.